Welcome back to JEB in Flow on the Street Parking Podcast channel. Good to have you here. It is a beautiful day up here in the Pacific Northwest. It's funny, when I was coming up here last year, I was traveling back and forth from California up here to Washington. And I was coming up here about twice a month for, maybe 3 days a week. And every time I came up here, man, it was so nice and sun was shining. It was beautiful and warm. And then once we moved up here, I'm like, wow, it actually rains a lot more than I thought. Like the winter ended and then we got some sunny days. And I was like, oh, cool, that wasn't so bad. A few months of rain, no big deal. I don't mind the rain. I don't mind the clouds. But then it started raining again. And then maybe you get a sunny day, and then it rains 4 more days, and then so by June you're like, wait, so at what point does it just not rain for a week even? I don't know if that happens. Maybe I just got really lucky. Maybe the Pacific Northwest was trying to convince me to come up here, so she was on her best behavior while I was visiting. But it's great, and it makes you appreciate these sunny days so much more. And I'll tell you what, compared to Southern California, which it's nice all the time pretty much, and it's sunny all the time, but there's no clouds. And I love clouds. And there's some really, really beautiful, incredible clouds up here. It makes the sunsets just outstanding. I have yet to see a sunset since we moved up here that was not beautiful. Anyways, I can't remember when it was. I guess it was last week, Thursday night, late. Carolina and I have kind of our routine. We trade off doing some work, hanging out with Callie, doing the domestic responsibilities. And that pretty much goes 7 days a week. So weekends for us don't really look different than weekdays. And then especially with quarantine and spending more time working at home, it's become this, it's almost a bit of a blur. And I think also obviously just having a kid that's under a year old probably makes things a little blurry as well. So anyways, we try to steal little moments when we can to just enjoy each other. And it was late Thursday night, getting ready for bed. I'm brushing my teeth. Carolina comes in, gives me a hug, and just stood in the bathroom and hugged for a little bit. And she said, "Are we there yet?" And I'm pretty sure she was talking about the weekend. It's Thursday night. We were getting close. There's a certain rhythm of work patterns that happen. On Mondays, we usually have to do this kind of type thing. And then Tuesdays, we have to be done with this other thing. And so each day, it's like you're getting a little bit closer to the workload that you have mapped out for the week. So by Thursday, she's like, are we there yet? And the first word out of my mouth was, yeah. Because we're here. This is it. This is it. There is no there, or there is here. I guess it kind of comes back to the whole enjoy the journey, enjoy the destination. The journey is the destination idea. But I like to look at it in terms of this, are we there yet? I remember you're driving in a car going somewhere with the family, and there's somebody that's all every 15 minutes. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, we're not there yet. Are we there yet? And you can't really tell a little kid to just enjoy the ride, I understand. But for the rest of us, we can enjoy the ride and realize that the ride is the thing. That is it. This is it. There, who knows? Who even knows where there is? Who even knows if we're going to get there? Who even knows if there is going to be there when we get there? Nobody. So, Carolina is so patient with me because, living with somebody that maybe doesn't always answer the way that they're supposed to, and I should just be sympathizing rather than trying to impart some kind of deep life lesson. It can get tiresome, I know that. And I wasn't trying to impart any kind of deep life lesson, but that's just what came out, and then it got me thinking, and now I'm here talking to you about it. So, what does that mean when we think, are we there yet? Well, it implies that we want to be somewhere other than here. Maybe we're in the process of doing something that's uncomfortable. And it's important for any type of growth, any type of worthwhile pursuit is going to require you to get uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is a good thing, but it's uncomfortable. And sometimes we want that to be over with. We want to be done. We want to be there. We don't want to be here anymore. So what it comes down to, in my opinion, is acceptance. I think acceptance is something that's been popping up a lot for me. And I've been thinking about it a lot. And I think that in every moment, there is some kind of an opportunity to learn something, to reflect, to gain some type of experience or information or knowledge. If we have negative emotions, they do a really good job of hiding the lesson that is existing in that moment. So if we can get rid of negative emotions, we'd be fine. But that's, in my experience, not something that is possible. It's not something that's realistic. So it's something that we need to work with, that we need to accept. Like I said last time, I don't think you can be just happy all the time. And I think anyone that claims to be is not telling you the truth. Maybe they're trying to sell you a program of some kind. So acceptance. When was the last time that you were having a really good time and you started thinking about doing your taxes and it made you really happy and joyful? How fun is it to do your taxes while you're thinking about having fun? It makes the process of doing taxes even less enjoyable. And not everything needs to be fun all the time. But we accept what is happening. We accept reality for what it is in that moment. Then we can be present in that moment. We can accept that moment. And we can make the best of that moment, even if we're doing something that would not be at the top of our list. You can only learn from something if you fully accept it. Only after that point can you take action that is really meaningful. And it's real easy to accept reality when everything is good. The challenge is accepting reality when everything is not good. And let me be very clear that acceptance and complacency are not the same thing. You can accept reality and still take action to change it. But you have to accept it for what it is. You can't ignore it. You can't deny it. You can't pretend that it's not there. You can't try to distract yourself with other stuff and hope that it goes away. You have to accept it. And only then can you take meaningful action. Can you actually change things that you feel like need to be different? So there's this idea of radical acceptance, and that's basically what it is. It's just fully accepting every possible thing as it comes. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's really, really hard to do. I don't think it's something that people do instantly. It takes work. It's a step-by-step process. And here's what I mean. You've got basically 4 options when a challenge or a problem presents itself to you. Number 1, you fix it. If you have the tools to fix it, you have a solution, you know something that will work, well, your first option is to then recognize the problem, recognize the solution, apply the solution. The second option is to do nothing, right? To not fix it, to not try to fix it, to just ignore it and hope that it goes away. And maybe it will go away, or maybe you will, at least you'll think that it goes away, or it temporarily goes away. But I guarantee you, if it's a formidable problem, it will come back. It will follow you. It will follow you. So number 2, not a great option. Number 3, you can change your attitude toward the problem. You can change your attitude toward the problem. And that kind of splits into 2 other options, which sort of is the 4th option. So you can change your attitude towards it, and that might allow you to see it from a different angle and allow you to come to some other conclusion, some other way to approach the problem that gives you a sense of clarity and gives you a sense of solution. But it just may not be the way that you had originally thought. And if all of those things don't work, you tried ignoring it, that didn't work. You tried fixing it, but you don't have the solution. You don't have the proper tools. You don't have something that you can't fix it. And you've tried changing your attitude towards it, and that hasn't presented any new strategies or ways to solve the problem. The last thing would be radical acceptance. To accept it as it is, come to terms with that, be okay with it, and move on. And move on. And there's nothing wrong with that when it's under the right circumstances. And it's not weakness. In fact, this may be a source of strength down the road. You might be able to share your experience with somebody else that's going through something similar. And who knows, maybe you share that experience with them and they share their experience with you or with other people, and a solution comes from that sharing. The radical acceptance is tough, and it's sort of like the last house on the road after you've tried all these other things. But it's about acceptance. So here is your action item for the week. I want you to identify a problem that you can solve. Identify a challenge that you can overcome, that you know you can. You know what the solution is. You know what the problem is. And it's just a matter of taking the solution and applying it over to the problem. Identify something. It could be something real easy. Real easy. Tying your shoes. My shoes are untied. That's the problem. The solution would be to tie my dang shoes. Try to make it a little bit more challenging than that, but that's an example. Like, make it something that is impossible to fail at, right? Then I want you to just take a moment to think, to reflect. Ask yourself if there is a situation in your life that you've been ignoring. You recognize the need for some action. You recognize the need for something, some situation, some scenario to be different than the way that it is right now. Yet you haven't taken any action on it. And just take a moment to recognize how that feels. How does it feel to be aware of an issue and to intentionally try to ignore the issue? Does it feel good? Does it feel like tension has been relieved? Do you feel heavy or light? Think about that. Think about how it would feel if that problem wasn't there anymore. If that problem was solved. Would it feel like a weight was lifted off your chest? Would it feel like you could finally move forward in some direction on something? The other thing I want you to look for is the positive. If you find yourself in a situation, a scenario, and confronted with a problem that is frustrating, or that you notice you're getting upset or anxious about, take a moment and just force yourself to put those emotions aside and look for something positive that could come from this. There's always something. There's something positive that could come out of this. I don't really know how. I don't really know what steps I need to take right this second or all the steps, but is there something positive that could come out of this? What is that? Accept what you can and you cannot change. Try to shift your perspective a little bit. Look at it from a different angle. Look at it from someone else's point of view. Whatever it is that you feel like you can change, well, then you know where to direct your action. The stuff you can't change, don't worry about that right now. Focus on the thing you can take action on. When you can take action on that, maybe the stuff that you can't change will get smaller, less consequential, or easier to accept. And those things that are out of your control, that you've tried all these other things, you've tried to fix it, you've tried to change your perspective on it, and there's other things that they're just beyond your control. Practice acceptance, radical acceptance, and move on. I think that's the big part. We can accept something, but then do we really accept it if we just stay there and don't actually move beyond it? No, we just sit there and just try to keep re-accepting it over and over and over again because we're never actually fully, radically, and completely in acceptance. So you'll know that you've achieved that level of acceptance once you are able to move on without resentment, without anger, jealousy, or any of those other negative emotions. So I know that's a little bit general, but I want to keep it general this week because I feel like just by me talking, if you really start thinking about your own experience, something will come up. something will plant itself in your mind, and all my general things will become much more specific and unique to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a really great week. I love you. Talk to you soon.